What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the newest episode of the Believe in Oregon podcast. I'm Zachary Neel. He's Jonathan Stewart. Jay Stu, what's up, man? How we doing?
Good, man. Have football practice this morning.
Yeah.
For those of you guys that are just now tuning in to Believe in Oregon, I am a assistant football coach for the middle school football team here in Charlotte, Charlotte Christian. We have a middle school football team coached by myself, Greg Olson, Luke Keekley, Todd, who's an analyst, old school Penn State quarterback, and Greg's dad, Christian, who is a legendary New Jersey Hall of Fame high school football coach.
Wow.
And we take things serious. And we had to practice indoors today because we have at least 5 inches of rain out there today. And
That's crazy.
It's incredibly messy out there. I'm glad I drive a truck.
With that coaching staff, man, you guys better be good. You don't have excuses.
No, listen, players play, coaches coach.
Yeah, but you got enough.
We are going to
absolutely
whoop a lot of people, but players got to play.
Okay,
they're going to be in they're going to be in position. They're going to be well equipped. They're going to be well disciplined. They're going to either the players that play on this team and stay on this team. They're going to love football. Period.
They better. They'll either love it or they'll hate it because you guys are going to coach them so hard.
No, we got some.
Like, you know what? This isn't for me.
We got some really good kids, though. I mean, last year we had a good team. This year, our team is light years ahead because of the 7th graders. Last year, they're on top of things. You know, they understand how we roll. They understand what's expected of them. This isn't babysitting hour. If your mom's at home, you're grown. You got to handle business. You're not grown by any means, but you better practice like you're grown.
Yeah, you're growing.
It's fun, man.
That's
impressionable age.
Yeah, I want updates throughout the year for sure.
You'll definitely get them.
All right, well, once again, we're going to dive deep into our preview season. We're continuing our outlook for the Ducks in 2025. So far, we've looked at position groups. We've taken kind of a bird's eye view at the Big Ten Conference as a whole, and we predicted Oregon's schedule last week, kind of what we think their record's going to be. Shockingly, we both think they're going to go 11-1. Today, we're going to have a little bit of fun, though, and talk betting lines. That is my professional transition into this exciting news that we've been waiting for a while to share. The Believe in Oregon podcast is now officially sponsored by Fan Duel Sportsbook. That's right. We've partnered with America's #1 sportsbook to bring you closer to the action, whether you're betting on the Ducks, your favorite NFL team, or just looking for some great odds and fun prop bets. FanDuel has you covered. So to celebrate that partnership, I wanted to get into a little game of Would You Rather. Just this isn't the Would You Rather that we would play on the team bus in high school going to games, but rather a version that has to do with betting lines. Quite simply, I've gathered a handful of prop bets for Oregon going into 2025. I want to see which ones stand out to you. Sound good?
Yeah.
All right, let's start with this one. Reminder that all of these odds are brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Just which would you rather bet? Oregon to win a championship this year at plus 1,000 or Dante Moore to win the Heisman Trophy at plus 2,500?
Give me Oregon to win it all.
You think so?
Yeah.
Even with the lower odds?
Listen, I think at the end of the day, we have the trenches covered. I think our offensive line, Mr. World himself, left tackle, and our center, Poncho, we'll figure it out. I think our trench play, some of the transfers, a lot of the portal wins that we got there. I'm confident in just winning it all. I take that bet.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think for one, these bets are kind of like combined. If one's going to happen, the other one has a decent shot of happening. I mean, if Oregon's going to win it all, I guess that's more likely without Dante winning the Heisman because you can kind of rely on the rest of the team, like you said, the trenches.
Yeah.
If Dante's in the running for the Heisman, Oregon's got a pretty good chance of winning it all, I think. So,
yeah.
But yeah, as far as like actually hitting your bet, I think it's a little bit more likely they win the championship this year, as we discussed, last.
And it's no knock.
Yeah,
it's no knock on Dante Moore. obviously, you know, I just look at the guys that we have had in the past, last 3 years. These guys had an incredible
Mhm.
amount of experience, and experience, puts you into that category of being confident in seeing a player excel.
Mhm.
Just That's just how it goes. Um, Dante hasn't stepped on the field in a starting role in 2 years, so this is his time to shine. Make it count. Make it happen. Prove
Yeah.
us wrong. Make some money.
It's also a really interesting year for the Heisman because there's not really any runaway favorites. We'll get into this later, but, a lot of the
Yeah,
guys up top are, if not first-year starters, they're QBs at new positions. You got Jeremiah Smith up there. So it's a wide open year going into it. So I think both those are interesting bets. I would probably honestly stay away from both because I don't think either is that likely to happen given the high odds too. So
yeah.
yeah, I think we're kind of aligned there with the championship being the best of those two. All right, next one. Which would you rather bet? Oregon to win the Big Ten at plus 340 or Oregon to make the college football playoff at minus 230?
Um, Winning the Big Ten sounds extremely hard.
Did it last year.
We did it last year, but this year, it just doesn't seem worth it, in my opinion.
Yeah, do we even want to do
See
that?
my eyes?
Yeah,
We don't want to
yeah,
revisit that topic. But
okay,
I'm just gonna go with Oregon to make the college football playoff.
yeah.
That's obviously the bet that you want to go with. Um, as a fan, as a bettor, the odds just make more sense there.
Yeah, you just gotta lay a lot more money to get, any type of return on that. I agree with you. It's funny saying last year it was easier to win the Big Ten than this year, given that the national champion was in the Big Ten last year and Oregon
Hmm.
beat them. But um, I don't know with Ohio State and Penn State this year. I just think it's an uphill battle. You don't get a chance to play Ohio State in the regular season. You got Penn State on the road at night in Happy Valley for a whiteout game. That's gonna be a tough game to
That's gonna be
win.
a tough game.
Um, Oregon to make the playoff, they can lose 2 games and get in there. So you lose to
Yeah,
Penn State, you can, I don't
you can.
I don't foresee another loss on the schedule. I know there's some that could come up for sure, but
Yeah, maybe like Wisconsin or something like that, or
I wouldn't
Nebraska.
say that. I
Yeah,
mean, I'd
some sneak.
say
I'd say
yeah.
is if it's gonna happen, it's gonna be one of them sneaky teams. It's gonna be
So
like
you
one of
don't
them
think
games
it's gonna
last
be
year.
like an Iowa or
Remember
a
last year,
USC or
Wisconsin? We
Washington?
won that game with Dylan. Dylan Gabriel had a huge fourth quarter, like
Yeah. It's like
fourth
16 to
down.
13, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, if it wasn't for
That was a
him
close
having that
game.
that throw, we'd be upset.
See, that's what I think the Iowa game is gonna be like this year. It's
Yeah,
another team that's not an offensive, powerhouse. It's on the road in a tough
yeah,
environment. Um, Iowa is one that, I mean, we talked about this last week. That's one I've really got circled, and I'm kinda a little bit nervous for.
yeah.
But yeah, I think that the play here would be making the playoff at minus 230. All right, we're back. Some technical difficulties with J Stu's camera. Thankful for that weather down there in Charlotte. It's a little bit crazy, huh?
Hmm. It is crazy out there, man.
All right, let's just hop back in. As we were saying, we think that the college football playoff at minus 230 is the bet out of those two. Let's go to the next one. Which would you rather bet? Oregon to win 10 or more games at minus 290 or Oregon to win 11 or more games at plus 115?
Look, if you're going to, I mean, this is basically between likely and being elite.
Mhm.
If you're already paying minus 290 for the juice, why not just take the bet for plus 115?
Yeah.
You know, just one more win. So I'm going Oregon to win 11 plus games.
Yeah. I think so too. And this is kind of cheating in the exercise, but I would honestly kind of take both of these bets because I think that there's no way that
Hedging.
yeah, just, I mean, I don't think Oregon wins less than 10 games. Like, I don't see more
No.
than 2 losses on their schedule. I could see that maybe 2 losses, Penn State, like we said, one other game, but I think that minus 290 is pretty much locked. And then if they happen to win every other game, you get it at plus money. Nice little cherry on top. So, yeah, if I was going to take one of these two, I would go 11 or more, just because I really do think they're going to win 11
Look at
games.
us. We're just
If you're getting plus money,
aligned
yeah, our
properly.
lines. It's like we've been doing this for over a year together. This last one is interesting to me. I think we could have a good discussion. Oregon to go undefeated at plus 500, or Oregon to miss the college football playoff at plus 184. What are you doing there?
Jesus. Listen, I get it. Ladies and gentlemen, plus 500 is sexy until you hit that November Big Ten stretch, right?
Mhm.
I mean, we're not missing the playoffs, so you can go ahead and scratch that.
Okay.
I'd rather just make the bet plus 500.
Okay.
Oregon going undefeated.
You just think it comes down to that Penn State game.
Yeah, and I mean, just Oregon to miss the college football playoff, that's just bad energy for college football in general. No one wants that. No one needs it. So why are we even talking about it?
Can I say something that's going to piss you off?
Go
And
ahead.
piss off half our listeners at least, if not all? I think it's more likely that Oregon misses the playoff than goes undefeated.
How? Explain your theory, your logic.
We often look at this team through rose-colored lenses, and rightfully so. They've given us a lot of reason to be confident. We also can take a step back and say this team is incredibly young, incredibly inexperienced. Dante Moore, first year as a starter. There's so many questions. I'm just saying I am aware of a path where they lose 3 games. They could even, I don't think they'll miss the playoff losing 2 games, but it's
losing 3 games,
possible.
they can miss the playoffs?
Losing 3 games, I think you'd miss the playoffs. And say Dante Moore just, has a little bit of rust. They lose Penn State. They lose to Iowa on the road. They lose to Washington on the road. That's possible. I don't think it's going to happen. I wouldn't bet on it. But if I'm thinking what's more possible between winning every game on the schedule or losing 3, I think it's losing 3. And I hate to say it.
So
I don't
hold
like
on
this
now.
side
You
of me.
just said you wouldn't bet on them losing 3, but clearly you're betting on them losing 3. If Oregon misses the playoffs, they're losing 3 games.
I'm saying if I'm picking between winning 12 or winning 9, I'm probably picking only winning 9. And I just want it to be said, I don't like this side of me. As being rational, I'm not happy with this. I'm not going to clip this part and put it on social.
I don't like this side of you either.
That's fine. We can move on. I just wanted that off my chest.
Everyone ignore Zach.
That's fine. Why didn't your internet cut out right now?
You know who you should be?
Yeah,
for Halloween?
Huh?
The Grim Reaper.
Okay. Yeah.
That's who you should be.
Yeah.
But I hear you. I understand. You're being a realist.
I'm being a realist.
And giving us the side that everyone needs to hear.
I don't like it.
But if I'm a betting man, I'm gonna go ahead and just go on a limb and say this is one of those bets where if I put it out there, I'm winning big.
It's true. Yeah. The
might as well.
plus 500 is juicy for sure.
Right. Yeah.
All right, those are the Oregon bets. I wanted to open it up a little bit and talk Heisman and overall championship. For this, we are removing the Oregon people. So for the Heisman pick, no Dante Moore, and for the championship pick, no Oregon. If you were to pick a Heisman winner, again, without Dante Moore, I give you Arch Manning at plus 700, Cade Klubnik at plus 900, Garrett Nussmeier at plus 900, Jeremiah Smith at plus 1,100, Ty Simpson at plus 1,600, Lenoris Sellers at plus 1,700. Which way you going there? Do any of those names kind of stand out to you?
I would
down
go
the list if you want.
Out of those names, where's Carson Beck at? Miami?
Yes, Miami. He's at plus 1,800.
Okay. Jeremiah Smith it's all up to his quarterback, so you can't really depend on that. Arch Manning,
pretty good,
but
not the best odds. Plus 700. It's the leading favorite.
I might go Carson Beck.
Really? Please explain before I get into it.
Miami.
Mario Cristobal offense. You think, well, he did it last year with Cam Ward, but still.
Cam Ward.
Cam Ward is better than Carson Beck. I can
Yes, he
confidently
is.
say that.
Yeah, he is. That's a hard shoe to fill, and it's going to be weighing on him. I'm gonna go Arch Manning.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a solid pick.
I mean, he's QB1. He knows he is.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone knows he is. He
Great
was
roster.
basically groomed for this opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
The roster is there. Week 1, it's set up for him to go out there and make it happen, make a case. And if he goes out there and does what he's supposed to do and what everyone in the nation is expecting him to do, he's going to have everybody's attention from day one. And he's carrying a last name that everybody's familiar with.
He's a
And
Manning.
so he's a Manning. So I think if you're a betting person, you got to go Arch Manning.
I don't think that's a bad pick at all. I like Cade Klubnik, kind of for a lot of the reasons. He doesn't have the name, obviously, but he's got an established roster at Clemson. He's been there for a couple of years. He knows what he's doing. If I were to take a flyer, I would go Lenoris Sellers at South Carolina. I think he's just an incredibly talented player. And, playing in the SEC, you're going to get those eyeballs. You're going to get that Heisman love. Which Heisman pick are you absolutely staying away from? Because I am staying away from Carson Beck. When you said that, I was like, oh my God, no.
Now that it was almost because I was just thinking about last year and the quarterbacks from last year and where they are now. Because I mean, he had a hell of a season last year up until he got hurt. I mean, as far as just nothing spectacular, but like as far as trending,
good. Yeah.
As far as trending, if he was, still on that kind of that rope, as far as experience, I think if he would have stayed at Georgia, maybe he'd have a little bit more flair to him.
I think he also benefited from a Georgia roster that's filled with 4-star and 5-star guys. So I don't know. I just coming off a major elbow surgery too. Like I don't know. I'm not buying it at plus 1,800.
The technology out there is crazy.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, let's go to championship pick. So again, Oregon was removed from this. Texas at plus 600, Georgia 650, Ohio State 650, Penn State 700, Alabama and Clemson both at 1,100, and then Notre Dame at 1,500. Who would be your championship pick for this year?
Penn State.
Penn State. All right. Yeah, Penn State at plus 700.
Penn State was strong last year.
They were good.
And I think they have a lot coming back, those running backs and that. I just think about the running game and just the way they played football. They're a physical team. And if you're not going to be physical, you will lose. And, those two running backs coming back, it's going to be scary.
Well, their defense is also incredibly solid too, and they added Jim Knowles, the former Ohio State defensive coordinator.
Coordinator, yeah.
Yeah. I think I was leaning Penn State. I'm also just like kind of curious about Clemson. They've got a lot of really talented guys.
I think Dabo comes back and just does Dabo things again.
He's a good coach, man. I know a lot of people dislike him, and I understand why. His personality is not for everyone. He knows football. Him. Yeah, I think he's a fun guy.
He's a guy that doesn't change for. Clearly, he doesn't change for anything.
Yes, that's fair. Yeah,
the protocol and all that, like the portal, and he's like, "Yo, we're gonna do this thing the old school way."
He does it his own way,
Maybe and it pays off.
It's worked. It's worked. So, all right, you've got Penn State at plus 700. I will take Clemson at plus 1,100.
You trying to make more money than me?
Apparently, yeah. I've got a lot of catching up to do. All right. Before we close the show, I want to have a little bit of fun, and this may be at my expense. I believe that you have followed along with the rankings that I put out at DucksWire last month, where we ranked the top 25 Oregon Ducks since 2000. there were a lot of factors going into these rankings. I went with overall stats, single season performances, lasting Oregon legacy, NFL success, fan adoration. It's all baked in there. There's not like one single thing I did to rank these players. It was not easy. It was actually way harder than I anticipated it be. But I think it was a worthwhile way to kind of kill a month of content in the off season. So I'm glad I did it. But would I do it again? I'm not sure because that was a lot of work, and I've heard from some people afterwards that whenever you put out rankings, someone's
Yeah,
going to
people
disagree
have something to
with you,
say.
always. So I wanted to get your thoughts on the project as a whole before we dive into the specific rankings.
I thought it was cool. Being able to hear certain guys' names that you might not have heard in a while. It's almost, opportunity to pay homage. I don't think it's done enough. I think, we're at a stage in just history alone when it comes to the football Oregon history where the younger generation does need to know who laid, the path, and also be reminded, right? Uh, and it's fun for the fans. It was fun for me tuning into, Twitter to see, or X, to see, what the new ranking was and whatnot. And I think you did a pretty good job.
Thank you.
Looking at it, I can see where people can probably have mixed feelings and whatnot, but you're gonna get that anytime, right?
Anytime.
Everybody, and it's only because everybody has a preference. You
Yeah.
go on Zillow, you go on Realtor.com, there's a preference button,
Yeah.
right? It's because certain people like certain things, and that's okay.
That's true. All right. So, how do you want to do this? Do you want me to read the rankings 25 to 1? Do you want me to go through them 5 at a time and you kind of offer your opinion as I go?
Yeah, go 5 at a time.
Okay. All right. I like that. So, we start at number 25, Bucky Irving. 24,
Okay.
TJ Ward. 23, Tez Johnson. 21, Troy Dye. Oh, 22, Troy Dye. And 21, Sammy Parker. Anyone
Fair.
too high, anyone too low. And when I say too high, I mean close to 1. When I say too low, I mean close to 25. Anyone should be higher on the list.
Yeah, I got a question.
Yeah.
So that people maybe understand what was the theory behind all this. So what made people higher than the others? Was did their you know NFL career have anything to do with this?
Partially.
Uh, Partially. In what way? Partially, like one
I mean,
third, one half, like
there was not a perfect formula for it, but someone like, Patrick Chung, who was kind of on my, like, when I was making the list, floating towards that, the cutoff point around 25. And you go and it's like, all right, well, he has some of the most rings in Oregon history. Like that plays into it. Same with Kenyon Barner. That's why he's up there high. Um, but LeGarrette Blount has a lot of rings, but he also only played really one full season at Oregon, so he didn't make the list. When he certainly was, deserving. He made the honorable mention list, which the honorable mention list was, I think 40 guys long. So, um,
yeah.
yeah, there were a lot
And
of things that went into it.
a guy like Sammy Parker, right above Patrick Chung,
No, he's right.
and
Yeah, yeah, right below him on the list. So close to
right below him,
Patrick
and
Chung, 20,
then
Sammy Parker, 21.
TJ Ward, um, right above him.
24, yeah.
Yeah, at 24. In my mind, I think to myself, TJ Ward should be somewhere near Patrick Chung.
Okay. Just because they, yeah, kind of filled
They
a
played together.
similar
Well, they
place.
played
Yeah.
together. They played together. And they were part of the D boys,
Mhm.
right? Um, and that right there is a topic of its own. You
Yeah.
talk about the culture of Oregon football. You talk about the culture of the defensive backs. You have to mention the D boys, which Chung, Jay Bird, T.J. Ward, Walter Thurman,
Mhm.
Harp. There's a lot of guys that make that room so special. Uh, and in my mind, when it comes to an all time list, you got to think about the DNA. and who was a part of that DNA.
Mhm.
And so again, going back to the DNA, you can't argue that Sammy Parker was a huge part of Oregon's DNA, especially in the receiver room, right?
Mhm.
He was an explosive player and he was Joey's guy. And so I don't know. There can be a lot of I understand fans why you want to go and stone Zachary, but you're not going to. This is all preference based. So just everybody sit on your hands. Um, no, but I respect it.
Well,
I
it's
would put TJ Ward higher
higher.
on the list.
Yeah, and I think if I were to go back and redo this, I probably would do it like we did our Big Ten rankings and do it in tiers and not
Yeah,
say like,
yeah.
like these 6 to 10 guys are kind of in the same tier. I'm not saying one's better than the other, but they're right here on the list. So that'd probably be a little
And
bit better way to
but
do it.
when he says that he would do it in tiers, it's literally so that way he wouldn't get stoned for he wouldn't have to be held responsible for a list like this.
People are holding me responsible. None other than our good friend Joey Harrington held me responsible for quite a while yesterday, talking to him on the phone about this list.
Yeah.
He wasn't too happy with his ranking, which we'll get to in a little bit. So, Joey, if you're listening, we love you. I appreciate you holding
Love
me
you.
accountable. We want to have you on the show soon because I know you want to talk
The
about this.
Godfather. You're the Godfather, Joey. Don't worry about this.
All right, starting at 20 and going up. 20, like we said, Patrick Chung. 19, Kayvon Thibodeau. 18, Troy Franklin. 17, Nick Reed. And 16, Jarris Bird.
Jay Bird.
Yeah, Jay Bird's on there.
Yeah. I would say, man, it just like I look at Jay Bird and who he was as a player,
Mm-hmm.
as a leader, the ball hawk instincts. When you look at the D boys, he was the one. He was so constant and so consistent.
Yeah.
You talk about a student of the game. He was a professor,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so I think you have him at 16. Again, for me personally,
Mm-hmm.
I can rank him higher.
So you just want to put all
Um,
the people that you played with and your former
Not
teammates.
even that. It's not the people that I played with. I look at certain individuals on this list and I think about the culture.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I think about what makes a team good. It's guys that bring something special to the table
Mm-hmm.
with their play,
Yeah.
not just as a guy in the locker room, but when you're able to get a guy in the locker room that brings the extra, personality and the mindset, and his approach to the game, and it matches up with an extraordinary play. Um, there's a special place for a guy like that.
Yeah.
That's all I'm
Yeah.
gonna say.
Well, and also people who kind of made Oregon, given the building blocks of what they are today.
Yeah.
Like you said, setting
Hmm.
that culture that lasts for more than just a year, that lasts, decades if you're good enough. So one
Yeah.
person who I actually like, I think, because I shopped this list around a little bit before I published it. I sent it to Jeff Schwartz, got his take on it. Several of my friends too, they're like, does Nick Reed really belong up there? And I was like, Nick Reed remains the all-time sack leader in Oregon
Yeah.
history. Like, I know he's not flashy. He absolutely was like the opposite of flashy in his time,
He was
but
a technician,
he was so good, man. Yes, he
and he
absolutely
had
deserves to be
a
on this list.
technician and a motor.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Number 15, Jeff Mayle. Number 14, Walter Thurmond. Number 13, Bo Nix. Number 12, Panay Sewell. And number 11, DeForest Buckner. There was one person on this list that Joey had the most contention with, and that was not himself. Can you guess
I
who it is?
think Jeffrey Mail.
It's not him.
Like in my mind, I see Jarris Bird
Mm-hmm.
being ahead of Jeffrey Mail.
Oh,
I
you think Jeff
see
should be lower? Okay.
Patrick. I see Patrick Chung ahead of Jeffrey Mail. I
Mm,
see T.J. Ward ahead of Jeffrey Mail.
okay.
And that's not anything against Jeffrey Mail. I
Not at all.
love my boy Jeff,
Mm-hmm.
but I just think when we're talking about tiers of players, NFL and college,
Yeah.
these guys have to be ranked lower.
That's fair.
Higher.
Yeah.
Nick Reed is not ahead of T.J. Ward, Bucky Irving, Patrick Chung, Kayvon Thibodeau. So that's just my opinion. Troy Franklin.
Troy Franklin's great.
There's a lot there that's kind of, you got some favorites. We get you. The white boy got to make the list.
That's honestly, I was just gonna say, one of the hardest parts during making this list was setting aside biases. Because growing up as a fan, to this day, Jeff Mail is maybe my favorite Oregon Duck of all time. And so,
he was doing it for he was doing it for the kids on the block, man.
I was a white receiver in high school when Jeff Mail was a white receiver in college. So I loved him. And so maybe he's a little bit too high on this list.
Did you have the arm sleeves too?
Of course I had the arm sleeves. Little skinny white kid. Of course I did.
Yeah. Shout out to Jeff Mail. This is hard. The hard thing to do. Hard thing to achieve and make everybody happy.
You know what? I got a lot of people talking
about. Who was
about
Joey's guy that he was upset about?
Panay. He was so mad that Panay was outside the top 10, the only two-time first-team All-American in Oregon history. And he's like, how in the world do you have him outside of the top 10?
Yeah, Panay Sewell is
top 5. It's hard to disagree.
Yeah, he shouldn't be up there at 12. I think he's absolutely right.
Yeah, what's hard about that's fine. I'll take it. What's hard about offensive linemen is you just don't have real stats to break down and back it up. It's just kind of hard. They get lost a little bit, which
you gotta see. This is what you got to do with offensive linemen. You gotta see what the offensive line was able to accomplish in the run game.
Mm-hmm.
How many times the quarterback was sacked, and then what do they do when they go off into the league? Are they still dominant? Maybe even more dominant because everybody else is doing their job. It makes their job easier.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, all right. This is where it gets interesting. Number 10, the infamous Joey Harrington. Number 9, Dennis Dixon. Number 8, yours truly, Jonathan Stewart. Number 7, DeAnthony Thomas. And number 6, Kenyon Barner. What do you think of your ranking in particular?
I respect it. Number 8, I was a highly touted recruit coming out. Got banged up first year or so and finally bloomed. And when I bloomed, I got up out of there.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
I think, that's a fair assessment there. And I look at Dennis, and I think Dennis, that year was so magical. And without him, who knows where Oregon actually will be, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that offense was so explosive with him in it. It changed the way high school quarterbacks and high school kids viewed football. The high tempo with Coach Kelly. You're playing NCAA football on Xbox or PlayStation, and you're grabbing the Oregon Ducks because Dennis Dixon.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think culture-wise, I think him as a quarterback in college, I think he definitely earns the respect to be there. I'm gonna let him and Joey Harrington duke it out as far as who's ahead of each other.
Yeah.
Because they kind of both share the similar. They both share a similar gravitational pull, right?
They were both fundamental in making Oregon who they are today, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's.
And then I would say Panay Sewell definitely somehow needs to be in there.
Top 10, yeah.
Top 10. And, if it were me, I would put myself out and put him in there.
I was going to say, so you're putting yourself at 12 and putting Panay at 8?
Yeah, just to make everybody happy because I'm that type of guy.
Fine. What a nice guy. What a gentleman. All right, let's do the top 5 real quick because we got to get you out of here soon. Number 5, Haloti Ngata. Number 4, Royce Freeman. Number 3, Justin Herbert. Number 2, LaMichael James. And number 1, of course, Marcus Mariota. Any thoughts?
Justin Herbert is a hometown guy.
Shelton High School.
Yeah. Okay.
He still might have been too high.
He's definitely too high.
You think he's too high?
I think he if he won a national championship, sure.
If anyone won a national championship on this, they're
Yeah.
probably at the top
If
of
he
that
was
list.
if he was a Heisman Trophy winner, he would be closer to 2. But I think he kind of sits in that same category as Dennis and Joey.
Okay.
And it's not like a knock. It's just basically Marcus Mariota is the guy. He's the quarterback that everybody should be looking up to. If you're coming to Oregon to play quarterback, you want to be Marcus Mariota.
Yeah.
You want to go be a running back, you want to be LaMichael James. If you want to go play D-line, you want to be a Haloti Ngata. If you want to go and be a receiver, you want to be
Jeff Mayo.
Jeff Mayo.
Or Troy Franklin.
Or Troy Franklin, right? If you want to go be a DB, there's, Walter Thurman, Jarris Byrd, Patrick Chung, TJ Ward,